Hi there, are you practicing? Well, of course you are, right? Well, I have good news for you because you can from now on hopefully practice smarter by understanding how many pieces you should practice at the same time. I've received probably over the years, over 100 comments that ask a similar question like this. How many pieces should I be practicing at the same time? Is it too much if I have 10 pieces right now? Obviously, beginners should handle the whole thing differently than someone who's very experienced. So in this video, I'll explain how many pieces you should be actually learning at the same time, practicing at the same time, and having your repertoire. All right, so first of all, let's talk about why having multiple pieces is a good idea. So the first reason for that is just because our brain loves stimulus, right? The progress will actually decline because you don't get any new stimulus. So you practice repeatedly the same thing. The problem might be that also you get a certain routine. You might practice it in the same way. You might look at it in the same way every day. And if you have enough variation in your practice, theoretically, for some time it would be okay, but generally it's not recommended that you only focus on one piece for an extended period of time. Interleaved practice, which means having multiple pieces rather than blocked practice, which would mean just one particular piece, over time makes a huge difference. Also, there is a second effect from that, where if you practice multiple pieces, you retain the information better. Rather than just focusing on one aspect. There's also a cross-training benefit. If you learn one piece, you transfer those skills to another piece, even if you want to or not. So let's say you have a piece that has a lot of, I don't know, A major scale, and then you practice another piece later that also has includes A major scales, then you've transferred that one piece to another. Similarly with all other aspects, you can transfer many skills from piece to piece, not just technical ones. Practicing multiple pieces gives you a better focus, gives you better attention, and even faster memorization because you give your brain some variation. I think those are the key benefits. The key point to this is if you kind of spread your practice time over many pieces, then in truth, essentially, you don't do any progress because you spread, for example, your 30 minutes or 60 minutes, let's say you're very busy, over 10 to 15 pieces, you can't expect to make any meaningful progress in any of those pieces. So while it is good to have multiple pieces, spreading the time spent on each piece too thin is a major problem. And obviously it's a simple maths equation, right? Later, obviously, the more patterns you learn as a musician, the faster you can kind of adapt and use those patterns you have learned on different pieces. Pattern recognition, patterns is a huge topic on its own, but I think the more patterns you have in your database, so to say, the easier it becomes. And that's why also playing more pieces means you can learn new pieces faster. However, there is a real risk of cognitive overload for beginners where there's just too much information, even if it's just 3 or 4 pieces, because everything is new. And then if there are no patterns to be recognized, you have to build those patterns, which takes a long time. This is a very tedious process. Okay, so now I will try my best to give some numbers or a range on how many pieces you should have in your repertoire based on your level, which is very subjective. This is not an exact science, so take it with a grain of salt or a lot of salt. And if you've made it this far in the video, we always have this game where we comment some random word. And since I mentioned salt now, today's word is Himalayan salt. So if you've made it this far, go ahead and comment and I'll give you a like and a heart because you made it this far. All right, the short version, how many pieces should we have in repertoire? Beginners, I would say 1 to 2. You should be practicing more your fundamentals. Fundamentals means scales, arpeggios, get some music theory learning in there, something that will advance you. Don't focus too much on repertoire. I would say 1 to 2 pieces. And it's obviously important that those pieces don't overload you. So try to find something that matches your difficulty. Can be anything for your instrument that's considered beginner-friendly exercise, plus some learning material, for example, about music theory, and then one fun piece or song that you're learning. There's a gradual change somewhere to more advanced, sort of intermediate levels, and I think this is where most people fall into this category. And for those people, I would say 3 to 4 pieces is kind of the golden zone. You should always have that one piece that really challenges you, those 2 pieces that you're working on, which you're just improving, and that one new piece that you're reading. I think this is a nice balance because it allows you to kind of have that very difficult challenge that gets you to the next level. It has those 2 pieces that you, or 1 or 2 pieces that you maintain and you grow slowly, and that new piece that you read new information from. Then again, a gradual shift happens to somewhere in the semi to professional ranges. This is a very, very difficult to estimate range. So professional musicians have to handle a lot of repertoire at the same time because they're giving concerts, they have solo repertoire, chamber music repertoire, orchestral repertoire. You know, it's maybe 20 pieces that they have to handle. Also, people who are doing a lot of competitions, they might have back-to-back competitions with different repertoire, and that means they have to prepare 4 rounds from one competition plus 4 rounds from a different competition. That is a very large repertoire. But there's a difference there, which I think this is the key, is that there's a difference in keeping repertoire and practicing it once in a while and sort of kind of, warming it up, and then you can put it back into the archives and then warm it up again. This is a big difference for the professionals because essentially they've played a lot of stuff. So A, their pattern recognition is very fast. B, if it's a piece they played already, they know exactly how it works, what they need to practice, how to quickly, bring it back to where it was, and then they can quickly put it away. Size of repertoire is more flexible in those cases. Okay, quick checklist. This is for any level now, and it's just a quick checklist if you have too many pieces. If you answer yes to these questions. For example, number 1, are you forgetting a lot of the material that you're learning? If yes, then it could be that you have too much repertoire. B, are you seeing that there's almost no progress going on in any of the pieces? Then again, it could be you have too many pieces in your repertoire, in your active repertoire. Are you feeling burnt out and you feel like you're getting very bored of a piece? This could be an indication that, as we talked in the beginning, you have that one stimulus, and your brain needs more. So it might be that you have too few pieces in that case. Are you also hitting a plateau with the piece? That could be completely unrelated, but it could be that you need an influence from another piece to actually help you with that piece. Also, if you would like to organize your repertoire, for example, what pieces am I learning now, what pieces have I learned, also to track your practice time, to see your practice history, etc., I recommend you head over to Pract.is. It's an app I've co-developed with some musicians, and it allows you to do practice tracking, see exactly how much have you spent on each piece. It also allows you to do custom lists for exams, concert, and smart recommendations. For example, it suggests you which piece you should practice next based on your deadlines, based on your past history, etc. And many, many more tools. So I recommend you head over to Pract.is and try it for a month for free. Alright, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.